Welcome back.
Glad to be here.
Woohoo! We have a special experience happening today on 116 Day. 611 Day. 611 Day.
611 day.
Go ahead and look that up. Isaiah 61:1, one of James's favorite. We have our first team member visiting us for a Live Unashamed episode.
Yay!
Say hello.
Hello.
Tell us your name.
I'm Jane.
We love Jane.
Tell us everything.
I volunteer with Unashamed. Unafraid. I always say it unaccepted.
Wow.
I know, I combine the two. And I am the CFO. There we go.
So that's kind of a fancy way for people who live in the world Chris and I live in, not the world that James and Jane live in, for that she's smart. Her than
No.
me and Chris. That's what those letters mean. It means I know the things you don't know. So the question, as we start, a little 3-part series, people.
Yeah, this
Sweet.
is going to be fun.
Am I codependent, James?
I don't know, are you?
Well, here at Unashamed, Unafraid, we don't like labeling people. So I would say, no, I'm not codependent. But yes, I have, and sometimes still do, display codependent behaviors.
So label meaning I'm not an addict. I am someone who struggles with addiction.
Sure.
Right.
Right. But
James is not
I'm not going to let
an
the
old
fact that I
man.
have struggled.
He is someone who is getting old.
Correct.
True story.
Okay.
And
I was just
prefer to
making
call
sure I
that-
understood. I don't know
prefer
what the
to call
laughter's
that-
about.
I prefer to call that becoming wiser.
Oh, as
The
opposed
sage.
as opposed to
He's
withering
working
away.
on becoming
Yeah.
the sage.
Okay.
Yes.
So Jane, do you struggle with codependency?
100%.
Chris?
Yep. I do.
But this is often a naughty word.
Yeah, especially in therapeutic communities.
Yes.
Well, and if you don't understand it.
Then let us seek understanding. Let us sojourn.
Excellent, my friend. That's
Lead us on this
thank
journey.
you for the college
right.
word.
So I'm trying to catch up. Chris and I are trying to catch up. Chris, use long words like
sojourned.
sojourned, and I'll come up with other ones later.
Right.
All right. Definition of codependency, Jane.
Jane. Codependency is a pattern of painful dependency on compulsive behaviors and on approval from others in an attempt to find safety, self-worth, and identity.
Okay, first piece. Codependency is a painful dependence. Painful
Yeah.
because
It's not healthy.
And because it doesn't work in the way that
Helpful.
that brings fulfillment or long-lasting peace.
I feel like I'm looking just at some of my codependent behaviors. Like, for example, when I have done transactional relationship with Kayla, you give me this, I'll give you that. Or if I do this for you, I'll get what you want. And I think for me, the way I would describe that is it like doesn't taste as good as I thought it would. Like I'm like, if you do that, then you will give me sex, you will give me time to watch my show, you will give me the thing I want, you will go to this thing with me that I wanted you to go with me. But yet, although I got the thing I wanted, it lacks,
It feels icky.
it feels
Substance.
icky, it's
Right.
lacking something.
Yeah.
Right.
To me, that's how I would describe the pain of my codependency. Chris, how would you describe yours?
I have no idea. I need more time to process it.
Okay.
Well, and you better bring it back with college words.
Well, I would say for me, it's that icky where it's like I'm getting what I thought I wanted, but when I get it, it's like I'm not fulfilled at all.
Well, and it often comes out in a controlling and
Yeah.
kind of mean behavior where you're like, oh crap,
Yeah.
that actually didn't help me really at all get the safety I was looking for example.
Well, so that's the pain.
Manipulative,
second
right?
part of second part of the definition.
Right.
So a painful dependency on
compulsive behaviors
or
and
or.
or on approval from others.
Okay, so put it in our terms. So I don't know,
Right,
whoever's
well, in
sitting
our
here. So am I the person looking at porn? Am I the codependent, or is Jane and the betrayed spouses codependent? Asterisks here, parent, child, different relationships.
Yeah.
We also know there are women who struggle with compulsive behaviors, so they can be the person in the relationship.
Yeah.
We know that, but because we're just speaking from the eye. So, yep.
So yeah, both are exhibiting codependent behaviors.
I think they
But
definitely do.
addictive compulsive behaviors is the
Right.
word used in the definition.
Well,
Yeah.
compulsive can be trying to control it. Trying to control, like Autumn would try to control my addiction. And she was always constantly trying to get in and control that situation. So she was exhibiting codependent behaviors.
Right, compulsively checking your location, compulsively trying to control what somebody else.
Checking my phone.
Yeah, looking at their phone, trying to control what somebody else does, eats, feels,
Says
thinks.
about you.
Did you do your
And
homework?
the attempt to feel safe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So I think for me, the other, at least in my codependency, is the street definition of, well, if you're okay, then I'm okay.
Right.
It's the, like, if James is happy with our partnership, then the equation should then equal that I'm getting what I want. So if I make sure James gets what he wants, which put in the street definition, help me understand why that's unhealthy. I
Speak more
put that
into
out to the class.
Speak more into that.
Well, so all of the stuff that people buy all the time, right? Like happy wife, happy life.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you make someone really happy and give them what you want, isn't that going to result in a better relationship for you?
Not if you're doing it with resentment behind it.
And not if you're doing it boundaryless and to your own depletion.
Yeah, you're just ignoring your own emotions, your own feelings.
Your own
You're
needs.
just like, it doesn't matter what I say, but as long as she's happy, then that's fine. I have no say in it, but as long as she's okay, then we're good.
So I think this is the key
And there's
deal.
a lack of communication and, frankly, transparency and honesty in that type of a transaction.
Yeah, one of our favorite words, a book we all really like, No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Right.
Will Glover talks about covert contracts.
Exactly.
That you entered a contract, meaning to uncollege word it, that I'm going to buy whatever, I buy Jane lunch so that she will stay late and do this project for me so I can go home. But she didn't know that me buying lunch meant she had to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Example of a covert contract.
Yes. So to me, the snafu,
There's the college word.
right, the issue is if I'm doing it to my own detriment or my own harm, like meaning like if I don't have it to give, but I got to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's just one example of it. Like it shows up in so many ways where, to your point of like, let's look at, say, happy wife, happy life, then that means I will do whatever it takes to not have my wife become unhappy with me or dysregulated.
Or the kids.
Oh, sure. So this is how it showed up in my household. The unwritten rule in my house was do not upset mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And so in that, we were taught to fake it.
Uh-huh.
And so we didn't learn how to do really healthy, like, conflict or healthy emotional regulation or asking for our needs to be met. And so it shows up now, like in the client office, where it's like I just had someone in today, and he's always trying to not say the thing that might upset his wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he's
Instead
afraid
of
that.
trying to be kind, trying to be respectful, trying to show up.
Resolve the conflict.
Right.
It's just, yeah.
So they won't name what the problem is, because he's like, well, if I talk about what the problem is, then you're going to get mad at me.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And I can't handle you being mad. Therefore,
Shut
I'm
up.
just
You don't know
gonna
me. Chris and I are out of here.
Oh,
You ever
not-
manage the
you're-
conversation with Autumn, Chris, so she wouldn't be mad at you?
Oh, like, I can't even, I mean, thousands of times. I mean, that's just the way I was for a long time. And even still to this day, there's still times that I will try to manage that conversation.
same here. That is, if you're like, how do you
Call it a triple.
call all of us here? Jane,
Jane's
you
like
win?
perfect.
Never.
She like never
Oh,
manages
okay.
Jeremy.
So Jane, I want to ask the question because we're very. So I came up in if you're in Salt Lake and you're in the recovery community, generally speaking, codependency is a curse word.
Yeah.
It's a really mean way to say, hey, partner of person in addiction, you're totally part of the problem.
Yeah.
You're like there's this assignment of
caused it.
blame, you caused it,
Yeah.
that if you wouldn't act this way, then they would have to confront themselves and do the thing, right? But so I left the bubble of recovery in Utah through my work and went to on-site in Tennessee. And they throw codependency out like candy. Like they're like, and yep, you're codependent, and you're codependent, and I'm like, I thought codependent was a bad word, and they're like, no, man, it's a behavioral
Right.
attachment experience that we all struggle with.
And I thought that was so weird how that changed. Because when me and Autumn first got into it, codependency was fine.
I think,
and then it changed.
And then it
it was
wasn't.
like all of a
well,
sudden
so
it was
we
bad.
had
We're like,
Dave.
what's
Do you
the
remember
deal?
Dave? Shout out to Dave up in Colville. You know Dave?
Yeah.
He actually moved down here, I think. But right, Dave's freaking.
He's coming to Alaska with us.
Yeah, Dave's freaking baller, and he loves the old school book on Codependent No More, which is like cold cut.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something that's woke and censored, don't read that one. But
I think she updated it though last
did
year.
she?
So I
okay,
think
there's a
some of
new.
that might
Okay,
have been cleaned up.
So I want the perspective of this being a negative label, aka the person in addiction is the one with the problem. You, spouse Jane, are the one with the problem. I'll let you speak from the eye in our Living Unashamed episode. How do you deal with that?
Okay, so when I grew up, that definition of codependency was what I learned. Okay, so the reason why there were things going on with my dad was because of what my mom was doing. So then I took that into my marriage. Oh, the reason why there's something going on with my husband is because of something I was doing. So I was totally trying to, okay, what can I do? Buying all the self-help books. What can I do to change me? What can I do? All this, because I literally thought it was me.
Oh,
There's
dang.
something I'm doing that is causing him to do this.
And sprinkle in a little gaslighting
I was about to
or
say, count
persuasion or manipulation.
Yeah.
Or abuse. Let's
Right.
like name the whole spectrum of
Sure.
things in a marriage with Jane, and you could see how quickly you would double down and endorse that message.
100%.
And also could understand why then a woman getting in recovery is pissed that someone tries to use that language.
Yeah.
Against him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They're like, I've seen this movie, right?
Yeah.
So how did you reconcile that?
Oh, I like to say, honestly, like, it's kind of a joke in our family where I'll be like, as a recovering codependent, I really want to, and name what I want to do. And then be like, and now I'm taking the choice to not do this. So it was literally becoming aware of my behavior and my thought in that process.
Yeah.
And then
And?
teaching my kids.
Yeah.
That
How
was
to be
probably,
codependent and then now trying to unteach them.
Yes,
Right?
that was probably the hardest thing for me because
Yeah.
it was like, oh, I screwed up my kids. Dang it. And now I've got to figure out this relationship.
Yeah. So to answer the question, do I struggle with codependency? Not am I codependent? I'm glad we phrased it that way though, so we could have the label
Yeah.
conversation. But so remember Jeff Foxworthy with his jokes like, you might be a redneck if, right?
Yep.
Right.
So with college words or not, college words preferred on this episode.
I'm out. Sorry, y'all.
Remember when I didn't know that you'd graduated with your undergraduate finance?
Like
forever?
you just found out like 3
I just
months
found this
ago.
out like 3 months ago. You're like, yeah, bro. I'm like, what? Anyways, so you might be struggling with codependency if
Ooh.
there's your double.
Wow.
If
We'll speak from the I might be struggling with codependency
if I'm getting my validation from other people.
You're supposed to say the whole sentence, like the Jeff Foxworthy joke.
Oh, okay. I might be struggling with codependence if I feel like I need to get a lot of validation from other people.
We're doing this popcorn style.
I might be struggling with codependency if I'm trying to manage Autumn's emotions so that I can feel better.
Yeah, that's where I go. I might be struggling with codependency if I'm bothered by somebody else's emotions.
Yeah, I might be struggling with codependency if I need Kayla or others to see something a certain way or be feeling a certain way about an experience in order for me to be able to feel validated about how I'm feeling or seeing or having an experience. Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Jan, because you just said if I'm bothered by other people's emotions or other people's feelings.
Yeah.
Isn't that okay to be bothered by other people's feelings and emotions?
It's when I take
Chris
it
bothers me all the
personally.
time.
Yeah, I know. No, it's when I take it personally, like, oh, what's going on with me that I'm bothered by that. Oh, I must
Or
be
what
doing.
did I do that caused that person to be
Got
upset?
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it
That
becomes
makes sense.
my
I wanted
problem.
to clarify that because
It's mine.
Wait, we can be bothered by other
Yeah,
people.
well, for me, I feel like it's like when I feel like it's mine to deal with.
I gotta fix it.
I think James actually catches
Nailed
me.
it.
Yeah,
I've
gotta
gotta
fix
fix
it.
it.
Yeah. I think James catches me in my codependency more than anybody else. Because I'll like roll up on things and I'll be like, James, so and so said it's like this, and we gotta do the thing, and we gotta do. And he's like, no, we don't. And I'm like, James, what are you talking about? This is going on with them, and this is the thing. And he's like, no, we don't. And then like, I don't
You got the
know.
level head there.
About 2 weeks later, I probably come around.
Older and wiser.
College words.
College words. Yes. That was very fortuitous. And yeah, I think that's in that managing.
Yeah.
So I think this is like shame. You know what I mean? Like if you think this concept doesn't apply to you, like I hate to be that guy, but
Right.
you
Go
might
check
want
the mirror.
You might want to take some look into that.
Yeah.
Referring, if you don't know, Brene Brown has a statement about shame. The less you talk about it, the more you have of it.
Yeah.
So I think if there's no awareness around the codependency,
Yeah. Well, and it's easy. Like, there's a lot of ways you can look at, like, oh, what are some things that I might do if I am struggling with codependency? It's like, oh, I might be passive aggressive. These are, and then that will become some patterns that I'll engage in an attempt to really get.
well, I think we got to name that. Resentment and passive aggressive are like culprits number 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're really resentment in a relationship, you got to go shopping on the codependency aisle and see what's up.
Right. Then if I'm needing others.
My cart's really full.
Because those are signs
Right.
that I'm actually entering
Yes.
into covert contracts.
Yeah.
Yes. So to end the episode, living unashamed, we're gonna take a deep breath right now.
Great.
No. What is one way recently, as we take a moment to reflect, that you have acted in codependency that until now, if you've taken a moment to pause, you were unaware of?
Oh.
Something I've been engaging in recently?
Yes, that you're now going to choose to be accountable so that you can change your behavior.
Okay.
And question to our audience. In what way
Okay.
have you potentially been being codependent recently? Looking at you, Jason, back there behind.
I got one.
Okay, hit
My
us.
wife was totally upset the other night.
Your wife Autumn, like as if we don't use her name.
True. So she was totally upset, and I had some important things to talk to her about with our finances, and I didn't bring it up. And I even said to her later that night, and I'm like, hey, just so you know, I wasn't ignoring you. I didn't want to bring it up because I knew you were pretty activated tonight. So I felt like it wasn't a good time to bring it up.
Because you're looking for a specific outcome from the conversation.
I just don't want her to be heated during the middle of the conversation before we even start.
Ah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So you chose to manage.
And she's
that.
like, well, am I going to be upset? And I'm like, no, you're not going to be upset. I just want you to be in a better mindset when
I'm
we
just
have the
going to
conversation.
ensure
You're not even
that
giving
I'm
her
just going to
that.
manage and
Yeah.
ensure that you're not
Right.
upset.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll let you make your repair with Autumn.
I do it a lot with my girls, with my kids, where it's like, it's the
Yeah,
same.
yeah. You actually name one. That's how
Name
these
one.
episodes work.
Okay, so
Yeah. Like we do the whole
I
thing.
am so, I recognize I am super codependent with my daughter, where it's like, I want to do all the things for her. I don't want to tell her no at all. I want to be the mom that shows up and does all the things. And so
So recently, one that I'm now aware of is.
oh, I was aware of it. I actually avoided the conversation so that I wouldn't,
Give in.
well, yes. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to give in, but just so that I wouldn't hurt her.
She didn't have to hear the no.
Exactly. And so I just avoided the conversation, didn't say anything. Yeah.
So here's one example. I recently was having some difficult emotions that I chose not to tell my wife about under the excuse that I don't want to burden her with my hard emotions. And so
Ooh, drama, bro. Look at you. Good job.
so
naming it.
So I didn't want, so in the name of that, I just held it to myself and just like didn't give her the opportunity to really get to know me or to help me meet my needs at that time.
Which I think is a good example of that's when the three of us, that's when you act out, right? That's like the beginning of the cycle.
It can
When
be,
you
yeah.
would have.
Yeah. Like right shoving.
Yeah,
it down.
if you're not recognizing it, totally.
Yeah, I made the choice this week. So Kayla and I are leaving town, not tomorrow, but the day after in the morning. We had a film shooting thing for Accepted this tonight and before. So I made the choice to just avoid telling Kayla about any of our plans and then just kind of letting them happen and hoping
Surprise!
that just not talking about it, because Kayla can be conflict avoidant at times. Not talking about it, then everyone would be okay.
I think that's why she goes to my calendar to find out what's going on with everything else that's happening.
This is true. Which I would say I'm currently in process of making a repair for that, of changing plans this week, which I started on Sunday in a conversation with you, James.
Yeah.
So, in what way are you potentially struggling with codependency? Let us know. Shoot us an email, all of us at Unashamed and Afraid. Hit us up on social media at Unashamed and Afraid, Instagram, Facebook, the places. And until we're able to get together again, 2 more parts to these, by the way. So codependency, if you want some answers, hang tight. And until we're able to get together again, we invite you to continue to be unashamed.